Literacy has always been a collection of cultural and community practices shared among members of particular groups. As society and technology change, so does literacy. Because technology has increased the intensity and complexity of literate environments, the 21st century demands that a literate person possess a wide range of abilities and competencies. This is important as in the past they are linked with particular histories, life possibilities and social trajectories of individuals and groups. The multiliteracies line of reasoning is such that our personal and public lives are changing in some dramatic ways, and these are transforming our cultures and the way we communicate. This means that the way we have taught literacy and what actually counts for literacy needs to change. The term highlights two of the most important and closely related changes. The first is the growing significance of cultural and linguistic diversity in an ever-connected world. The second shift, encompassing the concept of multiliteracies, is the influence of new communication technologies. Meaning is made in ways that are increasingly multimodal, in which written linguistic modes of meaning are part and parcel of visual, audio, spatial patterns of meaning. As such, if we fail to provide such a learning ecosystem which match this changing globalised world outside the classroom, then we fail to foster the human qualities and personalities that are fit for future work and citizens of the world. These qualities are vast and diverse and range from confidence, flexibility, agility, resilience, collaboration, with a global interconnected attitude that the outcome of our outputs is greater than the sum of the parts. The 21st century will ultimately be defined as exponentially expanding technology, and it's this technology that teachers and students must become literate in. It is through the use of technology as a learning tool that teachers can efficiently and appropriately engage with the outside world. In the pockets of every student is the power to connect to the outside world and access information with the touch of a screen. This means that students are exposed to vast amounts of worldviews and opinions, biases and persuasion. At no other time in the world has so much content been produced, and this means that educators can play a vital role in facilitating the essential behaviours that are associated with success in social futures. Students here will need to be critical, active consumers and creators of content. Students need to become fluent in their abilities to actively engage with the content being produced by others, to ask questions, make inferences, make connections, and most importantly, use for their own utility. There is little use for content that can't be recreated, remixed, built upon, or challenged. The New London Group suggests that educators and students must see themselves as learners who can be active designers and makers of social futures. But what do these changes mean for literacy pedagogy, and how do we work with students in the classroom? As a teacher adopting a multiliteracy pedagogy, we accept and encourage a wide range of linguistic, cultural and communicative and technology perspectives and tools to be used to help students prepare for the rapidly changing globalised world. Here we guide learners to navigate these contemporary social spaces where they learn to apply not just one set of rules for meaning making, but the negotiation of different literacies depending on the people and context they may encounter. There are, in other words, many literacies, and these vary according to cultural context, social purpose, life experience, personal interest, knowledge base, and so on. The key is not dictating how to communicate in one right way, but how to negotiate these differences in meaning. For example, when in a social interaction, how best do I communicate meaning for others, or how best do I create meaning for myself to aid in my understanding? As such, literacy can be seen to transcend individual subjects such as English and maths, and is seen as central to all subjects and all learning. In a practical sense, this could mean allowing students to build questions based on personal interest, having students identify their own perspectives within various material, allowing students to propose changes or alternative approaches to content. Here, classwork becomes a dynamic and ever-changing environment of collaboration and simulation, where students develop an awareness of multiliteracies, such as that language is rarely used alone, appearing on visually designed pages or screens, multimodal, and that there is more than one multiple literacy existing at any one time, for example, across professionals or across different social contexts, multiplicity. Another prominent theme related to the concept of multiliteracies is design. Design means studying patterns and conventions of meaning and eventually translating those patterns into our own meaning. Students will be encouraged to take content and create. There is no use for content that is only to be regurgitated in an exam. Instead, students use their own creativity, their own ingenuity to create and remix meaningful content for which they can share and expand worldviews. So how do we as teachers connect this idea of design with multiliteracies? Through modes. Modes allow us to bridge the aesthetics of design by making meaning. The New London Group designates the main modes as linguistic, the words dictation and grammar, visual, colour, images and symbol, audio, sounds and silence, gestural, which is movement, stillness and vocality, spatial, which is placement, proximity, layout and direction. Combining any of the two modes makes something multimodal, like this presentation. Linguistic is the words I'm speaking and the words on the page. Visual is the colours and typefaces and pictures. Audio is the music and my voice. Gestural is the hand moving across the board. Spatial is the space, layout and distance between elements on the page. This differs widely from traditional classroom pedagogy that is often focused on monomodal tools for learning, in which does not include a range of perspectives, which results in lack of cultural and linguistic diversity represented in teaching approaches. So how can this be translated into the classroom? Number one, we ensure projects have both elements of multiliteracies, which is a connection being made between linguistic and visual design and cross-cultural aspects of meaning. We ensure all pedagogical aspects of traditional multiliteracies are there, such as basing learning off students' own experience, situated practice, examining explicit use of meta-language occurring within the project topics, overt instruction, guiding students to investigate and critically analyse design elements, critical framing, application of design in new contexts that students themselves have created or remixed, transform practice. As the many aspects of multiliteracies develop and become more omnipresent in society, teachers, students and workers need to become more fluent in the multi-layered communication. Despite the challenges which must be overcome, multiliteracies is everywhere and will be vital in the future of the global workplace, academic institutions and international communications. Even though there are developments, adjustments and recreations of multiliteracies content on a regular basis, society is moving in the right direction. As students type on blogs, watch YouTube and listen to audiobooks or read magazines, they engage in varied forms of literacy and make gains in their critical literacy abilities. In spite of the fact that multiliteracies may require training and it may be difficult to model or teach, it is a necessary approach to comprehending information and will certainly be a life skill for future generations. Ultimately, however, multiliteracies extend far beyond what one could perhaps imagine. Multiliteracies will allow teachers to extend their traditional instructional practices, and yes, multiliteracies will benefit students who have access by providing them insight into their communities, cultures, academics and themselves. It is no longer practical to rely solely on customary text in a classroom, and teachers must make certain that they are preparing future generations for the demanding everyday life.